Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is come in here to the panel. We're going to end up replacing this breaker because you can see it just will not turn on, and there currently is no load on this breaker. So anything that was connected to it, right now it's actually a pull pump, it's completely off. So because we have a separate switch for the pump, but you could see it's pretty much bad. There's nothing we could do. There's no testing. It's just bad. So we're going to turn off the main power for the whole thing. That means that the whole house will be off. So we're going to do that right now. Our new Siemens, what's this called, an AFCI GFCI breaker. Now if you don't feel comfortable doing this kind of work, please don't do this. This is something that you might want to call an electrician to do. It's not really that difficult, but there is some heavy duty power. I'm going to take this piece off right here. There's usually one screw. Sometimes there's two screws that hold this on. I'm going to take this off. Once I get it off, I'll have access to these breakers, and they're going to basically be on a bar right here, and we'll just unplug the breaker and plug a new one back in. But there still is hot from the street coming in up to this guy right here. So we've shut it off, so it's not going to be hot down here, but it will be hot from here up. So if you don't feel comfortable doing this, please don't do it. Some panels have a screw on top and on bottom. This one just has one on the bottom. And actually, in this case, this screw will not come out. It stays in. So we're going to set this off to the side. I always like to bring my meter to make sure that I'm not going to touch something and get shocked. I don't know if you know how to use a meter, but I'll probably create another video on that. That's a whole nother video. But basically, you can touch in the two spots where there's usually power and just make sure that it shows nothing. And right now it shows nothing, so we're good to go. Okay, so we have the panel cover off, and now we're going to replace this breaker right here. What you want to notice is the wire that comes out of the breaker is going up here to this bar, which is ground. And then you also want to notice that the neutral wire, in this case it's the white wire, is on the bottom of the breaker, and then the load, in this case, which is the black wire, is on the top part of the breaker. So we're just going to pull it out, and you can see it you just put a little force into it and it pulls out, and then the whole thing just comes out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire out of here, and then we're going to unscrew. Let me see if I can get a better picture. We're going to unscrew both of those and pull the two wires out. Then we're going to get the other breaker ready to put in this position, and we're going to screw the wires back down on that. Out of the top and the bottom of this, I'm just going to pull this breaker out. You can see here's the black and the white that we just talked about. I'm going to go get the other breaker, and then I'm going to put a new one in place. Okay, so you can see I have the old one right here. This is the new one. The wire is a whole lot longer than that. So I'm going to measure the right distance, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the wire, and then after I cut the wire, I'm going to end up stripping the end about the same distance as this one right here. I'm going to strip about that much off of it, and then I'm going to put it back in the same spot, and I'm going to connect my black and white wire right there. You want to make sure when you put these breakers in, you can see there's a little notch right there. What you want to do is put it down in first and then push down. So that's how it goes. It goes, locks in and pushes down, and I'll show you that when we get to that part. Okay, we're now to the point where we're going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to show you the other side just because it's easier to see. That's kind of dark in there, but both sides of this, you can see it has this little lip right here. That's where the front of this right here goes in. So I'm going to make sure that that lip, I'm going to put this in. I'm just going to bend the wires out of the way for a second. I'm going to make sure that the front goes down. You can see I'm putting the front in first. After it's in,
2 hours later.
Okay, so I'm putting the front in first. After it's in, then you just push it down. And you push it in really nice and snug, and you can see it's now flat. What you're doing is you're pushing it up against this tab right here. So it's now pushed in, and now what I need to do is I need to connect these two wires. So I'm going to connect this wire to the top, this one to the bottom, and then I'm going to take my wire here. And it doesn't matter which one of these screws I put it in. I'm just going to put it in one of them. And then once we're done doing that, I'm going to put the cover back on. After the cover is secure, I'm going to turn the breaker on, the main power breaker, and then we're going to test it. So I'm going to do that, and I'll come right back. All right, so we got everything closed back up. You can see that's our breaker right there. We've got the panel back on. We screwed it down. Power's back on right there. You can hear the air conditioner powering up, and that's it. I will tell you that the old breaker, when I took it out, there was some water in the breaker, and I think that's due to this door not being closed all the way, and somehow the water must have come down off the roof right there. So just make sure that you keep your panel door closed, and I mean, I would just keep it as tight as I can keep it, because really I don't even think that breaker is bad other than it got wet. We replaced it anyway, but just be aware if it gets wet, and also if there's a thunderstorm, that's also what could cause it, is a thunderstorm could end up messing up that breaker. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you. If it did, please give us a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe. Check out our other videos. Thanks.